Hey, I'm Anastasia Mac coming to you live from my studio as a special for Jackson Young Gallery. Actually, I'm kidding. I'm not live because I have a pretty bad phone internet connection in my studio, and I also have no other internet service. So instead of putting you through the torture of watching a live feed that might get interrupted constantly, I am pre-recording this special. So let me show you around. Welcome to my studio. If you think my studio is pretty large, well, it is, but I also have switched to a wide-angle lens, so it looks even larger than it is in real life. It's like I'm trying to sell real estate here. All right, let's look around and see what we have here. Here I have a little setup of my prints of my paintings. So let's see. Here's a poppy field, some trees. Chicago. A few more hiking inspired pieces, more Chicago. Mountains. Over here I have a wall with smaller pieces of my art, originals and prints on canvas. And down here is my setup with paintings that are next to be either framed or varnished, or they're waiting to dry when I finish a painting and I want to get it off my easel. I usually put it on my drying table. Here I have a working table, so it has a bunch of stuff on it that I'm using and not using, but I have my little summary of online orders that I'm trying to prepare. I am also varnishing and framing my paintings and prints here. This is one of my varnishes for canvas prints, my red gesso. This is my easel. This is where all the magic happens. On the back there, I have an air purifier and this music stand that is next to my easel. I actually use it to hold my iPad next to me. So when I'm using image references, when I'm looking at photos that I'm painting from, I put my iPad right here on the music stand. This is my little cozy area with couches. Here's one of my favorite paintings. I don't know if you can see it so well, but this is aspen trees. Okay, let's go to this corner. Here's my other working table, and again, it's used for varnishing and framing and things like that. And here's my studio bathroom. Anastasia, why are you showing us your studio bathroom? Well, you want the whole tour of the studio, don't you? And it has my art festival ribbons in it, from the awards that I have won at art shows. All right, let's get back to my painting easel so I can tell you a little bit more about the work in progress that I am creating. This is my paint setup. I have my water, my brushes, my glass palette, and of course I have a bunch of paint that I mark with paint color at the top, so it's easier for me to find the color that I'm looking for when I'm painting, because I like for all of my colors to be accessible and easy to find as I'm working, so therefore I don't waste all the extra time looking for a specific color. And here's more paint. This paint is by Nova brand as well as Golden. Nova brand comes out of California and I just love it. It's one of my favorite paint brands. Now let's take a look at the original pieces that I have been working on lately, and I have gathered a bunch of them here with me, and they are in various stages of being completed, semi-completed, and maybe just getting started on. This one right here, hopefully you can see it well, is my newest painting of Prague, and it is a part of Prague where you come off of Charles Bridge, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this part of the city if you have been to Prague, and I just love how this piece came out. It's not varnished yet, so once I cover it with a few layers of glossy varnish, it's going to be really vivid and it's going to bring out the contrast in the painting really well. Here is my other recently completed large piece, and this painting was inspired by a beautiful tree that I took a picture of in Maui, Hawaii a year ago. And it was just such a cool tree. The sun was setting and it was such a nice evening. And the tree was actually growing out of a hotel parking lot. So I have improvised with the background because I'm a painter and I can make up my own background. And I gave it a beautiful landscape background. And here's the painting. So this is how it came out. And this painting has been varnished, so it's really glossy, so you may not be able to see the whole image quite well. But this painting has been covered with multiple layers of gloss varnish, and as you can see, it is way more vivid. The colors are way deeper than the ones on my Prague painting. That's just how gloss varnish affects acrylic paint, is that it beautifies it quite a bit. So this one is just ready to be framed and hung up. And I just love how it came out. I'm really happy with it, and the colors and all the different brush strokes that got layered on this piece. This piece has quite a few of layers of acrylic paint. It took me a while to complete this, but I'm really happy with it. Now moving on to a few smaller works. Here I have another one that I have completed as a painting process for my most recent painting workshop that I have filmed, and I am in the process of editing it right now. And this piece came about from painting a very colorful background on the first layer initially, and then I sketched the composition over the background. Then I started filling in negative space in the painting to bring out these flowers and plants as the main subjects of this piece. And then I went back into the plants and gave them all this funky new detail to make them come alive. So this one also has a lot of layers on it, and it has also been varnished with glossy varnish, so it is a little shiny. And this one, oh, there you go. This one is a sibling of the piece I just showed you, and this one also was created for my most recent acrylic painting workshop that I am in the process of editing right now. And this one hasn't been varnished yet, so it is waiting its turn to be varnished. Here, a couple of more nature-inspired pieces. We have the pine trees right here, and then we have more pine trees. They're both were inspired by my hikes in Canadian Rockies, specifically Banff National Park. So these guys are going to be varnished soon as well, and then they're going to be framed and ready for going into somebody's home. And this one right here is a birch tree painting that I did during my live workshop that I held in January of this year. And we did birches and aspens, and that was a fun gathering. And yeah, this is my demo piece that I created during the workshop, but I took some time to actually finish it, to refine it a little bit after the workshop was completed. And here, a quick explanation for you guys about how I start my paintings. So this piece right here is going to be a commission. It's actually a view of the finish line of the Chicago Marathon. Of course, we don't know if the marathon is going to happen this year, so this customer who is going to be running the marathon may run it this year, or he may have to run it the following year. But eventually this painting is going to be finished, and hopefully it will also feature his actual running time on next to the finish sign. And it's pretty cool because it incorporates Chicago skyline in the background, and this is the view of Columbus Drive where the finish line is. And to get started on my paintings, what I do is I cover my canvas with red gesso. And the reason I cover my canvas with red gesso is that it makes the following layers of acrylic paint less transparent when they go over a darker color. And as I layer more and more acrylic paint, layers on top of layers on top of layers, it allows them to be a little bit more lush, and the layers appear to be thicker. because of my initial red base that I put down on the canvas. So it's just a process for me of how I create my work. And then over the red gesso, I sketch my image with a white charcoal. And this way it's better visible instead of me using a pencil and trying to make out pencil markings on the canvas. Here's another painting in progress, and this is a different commission. This commission is of a college campus for another customer. Hi, Derek. This commission is already sketched out, as you can see, and I'm in the process of laying down the first layer of darker colors of acrylic paint. Right now, it doesn't have a whole lot of contrast going on in here. It's not very bright or vivid. I call this, the first and second layer, my ugly duckling stage, because I'm just laying down the dark colors. And my method for creating acrylic paintings is working from dark to light. So as I add more and more layers to this piece, all the highlights are going to start to show up, and all the thicker brush strokes of lighter colors, and eventually all the areas of white are going to start to appear. And that's when the colors will become brighter and the contrast will be more defined and the painting will start to pop. Thank you so much for coming to visit my studio virtually. Please continue to support your brick-and-mortar retailers such as Jackson Young Gallery. During these uncertain times, your business means the world to them, and I will be here continuing to create new, bright, and colorful art until I can safely get out and see people and do art festivals and come back to gallery receptions. It's been lovely to share my studio world with you. Stay happy and, of course, stay healthy and safe. Bye!